Hello, welcome to It's a Great Idea by FND, Family Network on Disabilities. And we have today the power of parent participation. I'd like to welcome you to It's a Great Idea. Today, I am your host. I am Kibwana Wright, and I am here on dual hats today. First, as a professional who works with families with disabilities, and secondly, as a parent of children with disabilities. I also vividly remember the first time that I heard about special education. I never thought it would be something named among my children. Um, it was until I spoke with another parent who was telling me about their experiences with their child and some of the challenges she was facing with her child in special education, did I realize that I was having the same challenges and that maybe I needed to have my child evaluated. And upon getting an evaluation and a diagnosis, we were able to get my child on a IEP. But it wasn't until I had the conversation with another parent. And so that is something that is very unique about FND and Poppin. We are all parents of children with disabilities or family members of children with disabilities. And so we have a unique understanding of the process of special education. And we are here to help parents such as yourselves, caregivers, educators, navigate their way through the special education process and help you to become better advocates for your child because they do need you. And so it is a great idea that you are here with me today. And so FND, the Family Network on Disabilities, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization helping families across the state of Florida. We are funded in part by the U.S. Department of Education and Department of Health. We provide information, resources, and supports to families, educators just like yourself to help them understand the special education process here in Florida. The Family Network on Disabilities is a national network for individuals of all ages who may be at risk, have disabilities, or have special needs that and their families. And we serve professionals and concerned citizens. FND was founded in 1985 by a group of parents who were interested in sharing information and networking with each other. They came together to be a support for one another, and it was the beginning of a grassroots organization for persons with disabilities and their families. F&D is family centered and family driven, and that's what makes us unique. A very important clarification to make at this point is that we are not doctors or lawyers, and the information that we discuss here in our workshops cannot be considered as legal or medical advice. We do not interpret the law, and we do not provide medical advice of any type. However, we are excited to share information, resources, and supports for you and your family. We use research-based information in order to create our trainings. And we work in collaboration with state and federally funded organizations in order to create and provide resources for families. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act is the nation's federal special education law. And the purposes of Individuals with Disabilities Education Act have their roots in the past, when children with disabilities were often excluded from schools. This history can be clearly seen in the findings that Congress states at the very beginning of the law, as most recently amended in 2004. The findings say that disability is a natural part of the human experience and is no way diminishes the rights of individuals to participate or contribute to society. Individual Improving education results for children with disabilities is an essential element of our national policy for ensuring equality of opportunity, full participation, independent living, and economic self-sufficiency for individuals with disabilities. Before the date of enactment of the Special Education for All Handicapped Children's Act of 1975, the educational needs of millions of children with disabilities were not being fully met because the children did not receive appropriate educational services. The children were excluded from public education system and from being educated with their peers. Undiagnosed disabilities prevented children from having a successful educational experience, or the lack of adequate resources within the public school system forced families to find services outside of the public school system. These findings are the foundation of the development of the 6 major principles of IDEA, known as well as the pillars of Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. These 6 pillars are free appropriate public education, appropriate evaluation, individualized education plan, least restrictive environment, parent participation, and procedural safeguards. And today we are going to expand on the 5th pillar, which is the right to parent participation. Parent participation, the evidence is clear and consistent. When schools and families work together, student learning and outcomes improve. So do children's attitudes toward school social skills and behaviors, and the likelihood that they will take more challenging classes and pass them. This holds true across families of all economic, ethnic, racial, and educational backgrounds, and for students of all ages. Given the power that family involvement has to influence how our children achieve in school and in life, it is surprising that the nation's special education law, the Individuals with Disabilities Act, or IDEA, strongly supports parents' right to be involved in the special education of their child. As IDEA states, almost 30 years of research and experience has demonstrated that the education of children with disabilities can be made more effective by strengthening the role and responsibility of parents and ensuring that families earning full opportunities to participate in the education of their children at school and at home. One of IDEA's foundational principles is the right of parents to participate in educational decision making regarding their child with disabilities. The law is very specific about how and what school systems must do to ensure that parents have the opportunity to participate if they choose. Parent Parental rights of participation can be summarized as follows. Parents have the right to participate in meetings related to the evaluation, identification, and educational placement of their child. Parents have the right to participate in meetings related to the provision of free appropriate public education or faith to their child. Parents are entitled to be members of any group that decides whether their child is a child with a disability and meets eligibility criteria for special education and related services. Parents are entitled to be members of the team that develops, reviews, and revises the individualized education program or IEP for their child. If neither parent can attend the IEP meeting, the school must use other methods to ensure their participation, including individual or conference calls. Parents are entitled to be members of any group that makes placement decisions for their child. If neither parent can attend the meeting where placement is decided, the school must use other methods to ensure their participation, including other conference calls or video conferencing. You have the right to be involved at virtually every step along the way, from your child's identification as possibly having a disability to the special education and related services he or she receives and where those will be provided. You are not required to participate though. However, that is your choice. What IDEA guarantees is that you are given the opportunity to participate. The rest, whether to participate or how much to participate, is totally up to you. Parents vary in their amounts and ways in which they become involved in their child's education. Many have written eloquently about its challenges and benefits. It's especially interesting to note that successful partnerships between schools and families grow over time in a climate that mutually respects and shows consideration. Where there's a strong common focus on the well-being of the child, there will be success for the child. What is prior written notice? Prior written notice refers to the messages that you'll receive from the school system at specific times. At its heart, prior written notice is meant to inform you as parents as fully as possible about any actions the school system is proposing to take or refusing to take with respect to your child's identification as a child with a disability as defined by IDEA or state policy, your child's evaluation, his or her educational placement, and the school's provision of faith to your child. Prior written notice includes notifying you of upcoming meetings far enough in advance to ensure that you have the opportunity to attend and schedule those meetings at a mutually uh, agreed upon time or place. So schools will tell me about upcoming meetings? Absolutely. The notice regarding meetings that the school provides for you will include the purpose, time, location of the meeting, indicate who will attend the meeting, and let you know that you can also invite individuals to the meeting and asking you to let them know about it. If your child is moving from early intervention services, known as Part C of IDEA, to school age services, including preschool, which is funded under Part B of IDEA, the notice the school sends will also let you know that as a parent, you may ask your Part C service coordinator or other representatives from Part C systems to be invited to the initial IEP meeting. The purpose for that invitation is to help your child make the most smoothest transition from one set of services to the next. Some gatherings are not considered meetings. These don't require the school to give prior written notice. Meetings that do not require that parents are given prior written notice are informal or unscheduled conversations between school system staff. Conversations on issues such as teaching methodology, lesson plans, or coordination of services, and the preparations of activities of school staffs developing a proposal or a response to a parent proposal that will be discussed at a later meeting. The school systems will need to provide parents with prior written notice whenever they propose to initiate changes in the identification, evaluation, or educational placement of your child, or the provision of FAPE to your child, or if they refuse to initiate or change the identification, evaluation, or educational placement of your child, or provision of FAPE to your child. This means that the school must give you prior written notice before it may take action or refuse to take action in any regard. If they are identifying your child as a child with a disability, evaluating your child, determining your child's placement or changes